Welcome back to another edition of the Real Producers Podcast. Today we are featuring our January cover feature, Brandon Pruitt, over to my left. We are so thrilled to have him and share his story and just dig kind of behind the pages and get to know Brandon as a person. So this has been a career highlight for me.
Thanks.
Getting Brandon to say yes. I've known of him for 15 years and but never have gotten to know you. And so to be able to shine light on, I don't know, just your passions outside of real estate, which is, we'll dive into that. And just getting to know him and his passion behind his incredible brand and his integral reputation has been super fulfilling to me. I do want to give a shout out to Orange.
Yeah, right? Thanks to Orange Theory.
They should pay you for this commercial, basically. Where do you go?
So I originally started going in the Short North location, and then I moved to Upper Arlington. So now I kind of hit Grandview. I have a core group of friends that goes with me. So they are more north in UA. And so we'll often go to Clintonville. Really just depends on where we can get in a class. But it's been such a big part of my life for 7, 8 years now, pretty consistently. And so, when I was tasked with finding a place to do my photo shoot, I wanted it to be different and exciting and not just in a staged home. I didn't want it to be anything to do with real estate.
I love that so much because I think we can a lot of times, I love creativity.
Yeah.
And so I always give our features, I say, hey, you run with this.
Yeah, I love that.
And this cover image is one of my favorites.
Thanks.
Far, for sure.
I just loved the orange.
Same.
And then I was like, I don't know what to wear. So my assistant was like, you got to get something that's not blue. And I was like, okay. So anyways, she kind of styled me and it all worked out
so
well.
Good. So something not blue. Are you usually wearing blue?
Most of the time.
Oh, that's so
I'm a pretty standard blue. I'll throw in a green color here or there, but I mean, my wardrobe is pretty consistent like this. So I wear Lululemon dress pants. I love the brand and I bought a pair so I bought one in every single color. But yeah, this is usually what Brandon looks like.
Love. Okay. Love. Thanks for putting that out there. Okay. So we're just going to kind of start into your story and cover a bunch of things.
Yeah, nice.
So you have offices in German Village. You are with Remax Partners and also a broker. You have a brokerage of 48 licensed agents and you have a stellar reputation. Your business acumen, market knowledge, entrepreneurial instincts ensure that you'll continue to be immersed in a flourishing and demanding career. But I love when we were talking on the Zoom call and we initially connected, something came up. You said you don't want work to consume your life.
Yeah.
You've been in the industry for 17 years and you reached a point of getting overwhelmed. It can easily consume your life. Absolutely. Especially if you do it at a really high level. You say you have had an awakening several years ago. Would you just kind of share with us about that?
I started so young in the business. I literally graduated college and I had really big goals and dreams, right? And I came out of school with a ton of student loan debt. And this was in 2008 when the market was its worst.
Yes.
And I told people, I was like, I'm going to go into real estate. And they're like, you're insane. This is why would you do this? But I don't know. I grew up around it. My mom was a mentor of mine. And so I kind of always knew that I had a little passion for the industry, but I was scared to death. So anyways, I just kind of literally started and I didn't stop. And then I woke up probably when I was 35 and I was like, what defines Brandon as a person? Because all I've ever done, and you can ask all of my friends, they're like, anytime we go on a vacation with him, he's always working. Anytime, it's what does Brandon do? Oh, well, every weekend he's probably out showing homes and he's, selling real estate. And, I was like, man, that's great. And I'm super passionate about it. And, I'm very proud of what I've built, but it's also all work makes a man a dull boy or something like that. You've got to find a hobby or something. Right. Yeah. And that was another piece of the Orange Theory aspect of things is I reached a mental place where I was burned out.
Yeah.
I was just constantly on this hamster wheel. I would wake up, work 100 out, I was working 100+ hours a week, go to bed, and I'm like, man, like I'm just mentally not in a good space. So I needed an outlet to be able to like release some of that stress. And Orange Theory was a big part of that because I started and, I was also going to the doctor, and the doctor's like, man, your cholesterol level is like super high. And I'm like, I'm 35 years old. Like, how is this possible? So anyways, it was just a kind of an awakening. And, it's like, who is Brandon? And that story is still being written every single day with more of a conscious about like, it can't just all be real estate and work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Were you with a partner at the time? Were you with Macy when you were going through working
not.
all of that?
No. So that was also a really big piece of it.
How do you have time for
relationship?
Yeah.
No, it was the awakening kind of came out of a relationship that ended after 14 or 15 years.
Oh my gosh.
And, a big piece of that was like, well, all you ever do is work, like I feel like I'm not a priority. And, it's, I see it, I get it. Right. And I'm sorry for that. Right. But I don't know, it's just like something has to change.
The work-life balance thing can be a myth, especially anybody at a high level degree of success. Something suffers. But
Correct.
I think you're so right in that whether it's a certain age or a certain tenure in a business, in our business in particular, and after you've seen success, it does force you, I think, eventually to stop because something suffers, whether it be your health,
100%.
your mental health, your family, relationships, any of that.
And I mean, you're talking like, I'm doing anywhere from at that time, this was post-COVID. I think that year I did like 80 transactions solo by myself. Granted, I have an assistant, but like I'm running the roads, showing homes and doing all of that. And also still managing and building this team of agents, and so I have all these people that I have to answer to, right? And try to do the best job for.
Yeah.
And that's like really hard.
Yeah. Especially if you're putting yourself on the back burner.
Right.
I kind of, quite frankly, like for 2025, I put myself personally like on the back burner.
Yeah.
And it caught up to me a little bit in December, where it's like my body literally said, you're done. Like you have no choice.
Right.
And so I'm really trying to not forget about myself in 2026 and keep commitments to yourself. And follow through with things for yourself so you can be there for other people.
Well, and I'm a yes man. Like people ask me to do things and I'll be like, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. And my assistant was like, I think it's time that we learn how to say no, right? Like you don't have to say yes to everything. That is a lesson that Brandon needs to learn, is like, no is an okay word. And like, no.
Yeah.
And you don't have to really provide any sort of reason.
Totally.
It's like, no.
It's easy to just talk about these things, but what shift, because you do have so many things you're responsible for.
Yeah.
Not only your business, but helping agents. And I love something that you point out about yourself, and you can feel it and see it on your face and your countenance and your personality. You're a very positive person.
Yeah, I love.
And that's kind of how you drive everything. How have you been able to mentally, as part of this transition or process, be there for people, but maybe not take so much burden? Or are you still
I'm still figuring that out. Yeah. I think that is also I don't want to say a character flaw, but it's something about me that I do. I carry, people come to me with things and then I carry it, right? Or like, here, let me solve, like, I want to be a solver, a fixer for you. And you can't do that for everything. It weighs you down a ton. And so I think I just listen and then I just try to move forward, I guess. I don't know. I'm still figuring that out.
Well, it sounds like your assistant is such a wonderful
She's
person.
great. Yes.
How long has she been with you?
Actually, not that long.
Really?
So that's another piece that, I've learned over the past probably 6 to 9 months is I really have to lean on people.
Are you a bit of a
control freak? You could say it. Yeah. I'm a total control freak. No one can do it better than I can do it myself. And I just can't. I can't sustain that anymore.
Really.
And it's also pausing and being intentional about the direction that I want to go and like what do I want like life to look like. And I know that I'm not going to get there tomorrow, but if I just day by day take these little steps to start to offload some of these things, then maybe in 6 months or 9 months I can be like, okay, I'm starting to feel lighter,
Yeah.
But it takes time, right? Like nothing in this, and that's also part of maybe a thing about me is like I move very slowly. I'm like very thoughtful. I don't like making quick, rash decisions. I don't like a ton of chaos and disruption and change, right? So I'm just very mindful about that. And so I just think and think and think. And sometimes it's a fault. Like I can think too much and it's like, just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just do it. But
relatable.
I don't know.
Would you kind of talk to me? I love that you are a self-described nerd, you say, in high school and college. After graduating from Westerville, you went on to Wake Forest University, where you graduated cum laude with a BS in finance. Incredible. So you mentioned that you always felt perhaps real estate was in your future. Did you go to get the degree thinking you were going to go that route? Or like kind of talk to me how you ended up with that degree and then...
Yeah, so I actually went to school there because I wanted to just I wanted to leave Ohio. I wanted to experience something new. I think, I was also still trying to find myself, right? This was before I was out. And so, I was just kind of like, I'm going to go here and maybe start fresh and new. You know what I mean? From all these people that I went to high school with. And, I don't know how to say this, not like that my place was defined, but it's kind of like, I don't know. They knew this is who Brandon was.
Totally.
Right?
Where you can go somewhere else and they know nothing
about you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, not that I was like running from anything, but I was like, I just want to go and kind of clean slate, meet new people. Let's see how it all goes. So I went down there. They had a really good business school. I knew that business was a path that I was going to go. I originally thought I was going to do their like 5-year accounting program. And then I realized accounting was like boring as all get out. So I was like, I can't do that.
Right.
So I got my finance degree and I got my license between my freshman and sophomore year of college. And then at the end, I was kind of like, I had a job. I was supposed to go work at Ernst & Young in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I accepted the position. They sent me a signing bonus, all this stuff. And it was really like a tough decision because I was scared. I was like really scared because the market was crazy.
Absolutely. And that's talk about a major safety net. Everybody knows that brand and that.
Right. But I had no idea like what I was going to be doing. And so I was like, I don't know. I couldn't see myself going to work in a cubicle every single day. And all my family is here. I had 2 younger brothers, my mom and my dad. And so it was also during this time that I was coming out, right? And I had found kind of a safe space in Columbus, which I was super thankful for. And so it felt safe for me. And so I was like, I'm going to stay and sell real estate, right?
Were your parents really encouraging? Did they support that decision? Or
So my mom totally did. My dad as well. Like my mom was the one that told me like, look, initially she said, I don't want you to do real estate because I think she saw the toll that it takes on just your family life. And she's like, I don't want you to do it. You should do something else. But then I came back and I was like, I think I'm going to do it. And I just distinctly remember this phone call. I was like, I just don't, because at some point I had to tell them that I wasn't coming, right? I graduated in May. I came back to Columbus. I was supposed to report for work in like August or September. And so I was like, I have to tell them that I'm not coming. And also this roommate who is my fraternity brother, that I'm not going to be living with him. You know what I'm saying? So, my mom said, look, like, I know how hard you work, and I just know that whatever you set your mind to, you will not fail at. And so I was like, okay, then I'm going to do it. And granted, I lived in the basement of my parents' house for a year and a half. I made some sacrifices to be able to do it, but I'm thankful that I did.
Yeah.
And,
they have to be so proud.
Yeah, they are.
Like,
super
so
proud.
Incredibly proud.
Yeah. They're very proud. And they loved, seeing the magazine. Yeah, they were great. Mom was like, oh, thank you for mentioning me. So it was really good.
Because also, though, at that point, you can say yes to something, but to know what's going to happen,
right?
15 years later, it's impossible.
Right.
It's the success that you've achieved is truly also like a testament to your dedication and hard work.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to take no for, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to do it.
So especially the year that you said yes and you started, talk to me about your first couple of years in real estate. What did you think about that?
Yeah, that was, 2008. I just never said no. A theme. I never said no to anyone or anything. I was chasing every opportunity, every lead, you name it. I was like, we're going to make it happen. The first house I sold was like $60,000 out in Pataskala. And those folks are still great clients of mine. I've sold them 3 houses since. But I drove all over creation to finally land them where they landed. I did short sales. I mean, I was just kind of like
about that during that time.
I was just scrappy, man, like anything and everything. Right. And then it just started building from there. And then 2010. Yeah, 2010. So this was 2 years after I started. I was like, I think I can start a real estate brokerage. I was like, let's just see what happens. Crazy. It was crazy. I had 2 partners at the time. And so I was like, we're going to give it a whirl. And yeah, so here we are. Here I am with that. Yeah. I tell people all the time, they're like, why would you do that? And I think that there is a little bit of like naiveness. Obviously, at that age, I was like, I can do anything I want.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so I just started and I did. And it has been the hardest, but yet the most rewarding thing. Back then, I typically was the youngest person from a broker standpoint to ever walk into a room. And
did you kind of encounter maybe a little bit of
a lot
judgment or
totally
like, who's this kid think he is? And
like, yes, totally. A lot of that. And I don't know, maybe that fueled my fire a little bit because I was like, well, I'm going to do it,
Yeah.
And I'm thankful, like looking back now, there are a lot of people who bet on me too, like the agents that initially started with me. And I'm forever grateful for them. Sorry, I'm going to get emotional. Because I was 25. Now you look at it, agents join brokerages to help them, get where they need to go faster. And so I'm just like amazed that those people bet on me and they're still there, still with me, which is awesome.
It says a lot about your leadership and the culture there.
Thanks.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%, Brandon, because it's, usually around January, you see the brokerage changes. And it's hard to find people that genuinely stick with the same brokerage for a long amount of time. So it says a lot.
I'm thankful.
How do you purposely attract agents or recruit people, or is it more of like a organic thing?
Yeah.
For you.
So we initially started and it was more organic, I would say. I am not the type, I go to all these conferences and conventions and they're like, you got to cold call, 20 agents a day and get this many appointments and do this. And that is not my style.
Yeah. Ew.
Like that's gross.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that I will only do things that I enjoy doing. So I don't enjoy that. I would not like anyone to recruit me in that way.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that at all. So I think a lot of it has been organic, just word of mouth, people that are currently at my office and say, hey, this would be a great place. We've also had really great success in people that are not in the industry coming into the industry, like newer agents, getting them trained and getting them to be successful and up and running, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot of the folks actually that there were a handful that came from other brands or other flags, but some of my top folks were outside of industry, came into industry. We kind of grew up together in this business and lifted each other up. That strategy is obviously changing a little bit. We are now starting to do a little bit more cold reach outs and trying to build our name and brand in the market just to grow. But initially it was definitely all by like, hey, you should talk to this guy and he'll help you and all that. So
I love this picture.
Yeah, I love that picture too.
So much. Was this your idea?
So I took my assistant with me and the gal that also helps with marketing. And I think I threw Wes, the photographer, for a real big loop.
We love Wes.
So Wes shows up and, me, this is also classic me. I show up, but I'm just like, I'll show up. I don't have a plan. We're just going to figure this out. Right. And partly that's because I've had 50 million other things going on prior to. So I've learned the art of just like showing up and we're going to figure this out.
Going with it.
Right.
Yep.
So I show up and I'm like, what's up, Wes? How's it going? I'm like, this is where we're going to be. And he's like, well, the lighting in here isn't like the best. I was like, we'll make it work. It's going to be fine. He's like, what do you like about this? He's like, what do you like about this space? And I was like, well, I kind of like these words on the wall, whatever. Yes. So I'm like standing on a, what am I standing on?
You're standing on a treadmill?
So I'm standing on a treadmill, but also on top of a bench. Like we put a bench on top of the treadmill. And so then I'm just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I was like, just take some pictures and let's see what comes out of this. So then the funny thing is then I was like, all right, we're going to move around the room. So we're standing in the middle and he's like taking photos. And then my assistant was like, I think this is the cover. Like, and that's when that photo came about. And she's like, that's it. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. I'm like, well, do you need anything else? We're good here. Then we did some jumping ones and we did some other things because I also like.
Oh, yeah. So this is like an action shot where it looks like
I'm running. Yes. I'm running on the treadmill.
It's so good.
I know. I liked it. But
this one too.
I'm just like, you also have to have.
You're clearly having fun.
You have to have
just comes
fun.
Through.
Like,
I
want to laugh. I want to be positive. I want to be like, just have a good time, right? Like we're not, what we do is serious work, but we're not like curing cancer. We're not working in, hospital settings by any means. So you just got to have some fun. Got to laugh. I love to laugh.
Working out is good for your mental health and energy level, is a quote that you have. And you're infectiously positive.
Thanks.
It's really awesome to be.
It's so funny. People ask my agents, some people ask my agents, like, what would be one word if you were to describe Brandon that you would say? And it's so interesting that a lot of them say he's just so positive, right? Because I guess when they always call me, typically if they're calling me, there's like a problem or potentially a problem. And I'm like, you know what? We'll figure it out. Like, it's going to be fine.
Have you always been that way or have you?
I think I've learned that.
I think this business, I agree. I would say over the last 6 years, I've become a lot more resilient.
Right.
Because when you're a control freak, and I'm similar, I mean, it can really do your head in. If
right.
I overanalyze also.
Yep.
And so I have realized this is the benefit of getting older. It always works out.
Yes.
It always works out.
Yeah.
And I've learned the art of, and I learned this from Bobby Wright, who I bought this from, who started this in Columbus. he said, Katie, like, don't feel the need that you have to respond right away. Because I get in my emotions very easily.
Yeah.
Where sometimes if you just let something sit, even until the next morning, as hard as that is, that other person has also had time to kind of review. And then you have time to craft the best way to respond.
Yes.
And that has helped me immensely.
Totally.
Also. And just knowing that it will all work out.
Yeah. I think and to your point, I used to be so fast to oh my God, I have to like be on this
right away.
in 2 seconds. And I have learned that if you let a little time pass, that issue might work itself out, or the person that reached out to you with this mad urgency might figure out their own problem and it will all be fine. So I've learned that over time. And yeah, just like, it's going to be like, well, we're here. We can't really do anything about it. Like, we got here. So now we just have to figure out how do we get where we're going from here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like, we're not going to dwell on the fact that we're here. It's like, this is where we are. So we just got to figure something out. Right.
And I think also I've said before, like a problem is an opportunity to show up.
Yes.
And it's what you do with it and how you handle it. That's what you build your character and integrity on. And really handling it full, like head on,
right?
Not denying what's going on, not making excuses, just really addressing it.
Learn that too. It's like, let's just be honest about how we got here. Hey, sorry. But now how are we going to move forward? How are we going to move forward?
For sure. So let's talk about Macy and kind of like what you like to do for fun. So Macy is the director of operations for Nationwide Children's Hospital, and Rocco, your squirrel watching American Foxhound Rescue. I am a little disappointed that Rocco, there's not
I know. It's fine. He's disappointed too.
But you moved into your home in 2024.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to us about this Dutch colonial revival from 1921.
Yeah.
It's a historic part of UA. And who designed your house?
It's Howard Dwight Smith, which also, he's an architect that was pretty famous in and around Central Ohio back in that time, designed the Ohio Stadium. And so I thought it was like really a cool historical fact. Going through the process of like buying my own home. Obviously, I help people do this all day, every day. It was interesting because I would look at all these places and I would never really like have anything that grabbed me, because I'm just so numb, I feel like, to houses. I walk through a million of them, and people often are like, you don't walk through houses every day that you love. And I'm like, I kind of not really, it's just, there's some I like, some I don't like. But it was hard for me to kind of put myself in that space and do that. But we bought the house.
Interesting.
It wanted to be it was in the location we wanted to be. And it was different than anything I'd ever seen before. So I'm like, okay. And I love it now. He loved it more than I did initially. He was more the driving force on that.
I was going to say, did you evoke an emotion when you were walking through it, or were you just more like, I think I could make this? This is interesting.
Yeah. So initially, when I walked in, I was has lots of windows, which was really cool. It was very bright. It was different than anything we'd walked through before. I'm a pretty practical, pragmatic person, right? I don't emotionally get really attached to things. And so, and it's not like it gave me good energy because it had set empty. The guy that bought it before us only used it like 30 days out of the 3 years that he owned it. He bought it as a second home, which is so weird in Central Ohio. So, it's not like it was staged and all beautiful. It actually needed a little bit of life breathed back into it. So anyway, I initially liked it when I walked in through it. But then when I left, then my mind starts, oh my God, it's built 1921. This is an old house, all these things, I'm not used to this. Is this the right decision? Is this not the right decision? My overthinking brain started it.
Yeah.
And actually, Macy was the one that was like, I think we should do this and it's going to be great and let's go. But there were a few sleepless nights through that process that I was like, is this the right decision?
It is, because like whatever's when you buy a home, it's the timing too.
Right.
Because it's like, well, I like this, but something new could come on the
Right.
market 3 weeks from now. What if I like it more? It's such this up and down,
it's crazy
emotional process.
Yeah. And I've learned, about myself, like, I love it now so much. Initially, I didn't see myself there, but now that I put myself there and all my stuff there, and I have a routine, and it's my space, it's like, I just love being at home. It's great. And there's no, I moved from the short north, which the dynamic of that neighborhood has changed quite dramatically over the time that I've lived in Columbus. And so it's just nice it's quiet. It's for my new pace of life.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm older than you. It's the
not by much, probably.
It's the season of life. Like, we all go through seasons of what attracts us, and then what this isn't really.
I'm ready to move on from this.
I think it's too much noise.
Can't sleep anymore.
Yeah. So I love that you love doing house projects.
Yeah, we love
You
house
recently
projects.
did a complete revamp. This is so fun, of your home's landscaping.
Yeah.
Oh, landscaping, I love.
It's
I'm
great.
obsessed. Like flowers, and especially we have the most wonderful spring and summer.
Yeah, I know.
So what did you guys do that made a difference?
Oh my
What did you end
God.
up doing?
It was insane. We basically started from scratch. We ripped out everything that was in the backyard.
So it was a huge project.
It was a big project. Yeah. And then we planted all new things. It looked great. And it's a process of like putting your own stamp on something. And there's so much reward in like, wow, like we did that. We did all this.
When did you end up doing that? Was it just this last year?
So we bought the house in October. We had to do stuff to the inside too. So we had to rip out all the electric and put in new, because it had a knob and tube.
Yeah.
We redid the floors. We painted the whole place. What else did we do? There was a handful of put in wallpaper in the half bath, just stuff that like makes it your own. So then in the spring is when we really started this journey of like, all right, we got to make this, look good. And it was fun. It's also another way for me to detach from the phone and everything that draws you into work. There's just something about being outside and working in the yard. It's good. Like, it feels good.
Ooh, so you're going into this is still a new season of enjoying your new space.
Totally. We're so pumped.
Summer.
We're having an irrigation system put in, because I literally spent hours watering and making sure stuff didn't die.
It's a game changer. We have one. It's a game changer.
Can't wait.
Especially this last summer. You're in the neighborhood. Everyone's grass is dead. And
yes.
You're like,
and looks so good.
It looks so good.
Well, and a big piece about moving. So when I lived in the short north, you're on really small lots. I had no grass, like none. And it's so weird to say, but I was like, I just would like to mow some grass. Like, I don't know why that's about.
I get it.
But I was like, I want a yard. Because we also looked in German Village, and we looked in other parts of the short north, but there was no yard space,
Sure.
Like, I just want a yard.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Well, I love that you say Rocco loves it.
Oh my God, he's obsessed
with
the yard.
I love
it. He loves it. He goes out.
Rocco in the short north.
Yeah.
So
he's like city dog turned suburb dog. And he's like, this is the best.
So I love this.
He loves the squirrels, and he'll sit and look out. It's been really great for him too. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love that you have a wonderful friend group, it sounds
we do.
like.
Yes.
You love going out to dinner, hitting happy hours. We have a very large group of friends, and we love to spend time with them. Give some shout outs of a couple fave restaurants.
Ooh.
Or happy hour spots.
That's a good. So the Avenue in Grandview has a phenomenal happy hour. A favorite spot of mine is Third and Hollywood. I love that.
Yes. I've been there in years.
It's so good.
It's a gem.
And it's like right by the house, which is great. Butcher and Rose is actually a new top favorite that we have discovered. We went there over New Year's Eve, or for New Year's Eve, and then my birthday is actually next week, next Wednesday. It's a milestone birthday, so we're going to hit Butcher and Rose again, so it'll be fun.
That's awesome, Brandon.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to give a couple just business acumen shout outs for you, and then we'll wrap this up. But you are also, in addition to doing all the
things,
please. And honestly, I want to give you a shout out because giving back to our Columbus Realtors and serving on a board and things like that, after we need people like you to do that, and your tenure and your experience, you can now give back, and help. But you're an active member of Columbus Realtors. You serve on the association and MLS board of directors, and participates in other association committees. You say, my main goal is to help further the industry. The industry is undergoing so much change. It really is. And having a seat at the table allows me to have a say in what that change looks like. Would you just kind of share with me what that means to you?
Yeah, it was probably, I don't even know how many, Patty Brown Wright, when she was president of Columbus Realtors, she kind of tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to be vice chair of the Broker Advisory Council. And that's kind of what re-engaged my involvement with the association. And through that, I just learned that there is so much impact that you can have, and the industry is changing. I mean, it's wild. I get a lot of energy by being involved in some of that decision-making process and being able to weigh in, providing different perspective.
Yes.
I'm always the guy that asks why. If you ask anyone that sits on these boards with me, they're probably like, Brandon never shuts up.
Asking why.
I'm like, but I believe that if you are asked to be in the room, right? If you have the privilege to be at the table, then you should share your voice. You should share what is on your mind. You should ask questions. You're brought there for a reason, right? Not just to be the person that says yes to everything. And so I, for better or worse, am kind of that guy, right? I ask questions. I will uncover things like, why do we do it this way? This doesn't make any sense. It could be much faster if we did it this way. And so, I don't know, I just felt like I could provide a lot of thought-provoking things that may help things get better. And not that it's bad, but, help us kind of get clarity around kind of all the things that we're experiencing right now.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And it's like, we also need to, I think, raise the bar a little bit. I'm proud to have been in this business for as long as I have. And it's afforded me so many great things in my life. And it's a career for me. It's my life's work. And so for some people who just come in and maybe don't take that as seriously, I don't know where I'm going with that, but you know what I'm saying? I know what
you're trying to say. I was an affiliate for 8 years.
Yeah.
And so to have a seat at the table of seeing the difference between a professional agent that takes it seriously as a career and ones that, I think the space inevitably just opens the door for non-integral things to happen.
Yes.
And people who are desperate to make a paycheck, they're making very poor non-integral decisions. So I know exactly what you mean, because I've been able to see the difference between a professional agent and one
levels of career.
And you only know people when you work with them.
Right.
So someone can present a certain way on social media,
but
behind the scenes,
it's totally different.
It could be completely different.
Yeah.
And so one of my passions of why I do this is because I will forever be an advocate for the professional realtor.
Yeah.
Because you make a difference.
Right. And what we do is really hard.
It's really hard.
Like really hard.
And
it's like,
I know.
Yeah.
And I get so honestly offended when people are like, they disparage a professional agent at the level that you're at and our top 500 agents. I'm like, no, you actually don't get it.
Yeah, you don't get it. and the sacrifice that those people make in their lives to make sure that these people are cared for at a really high level. Like, you don't get it.
No. And there are so many, again, unless you're behind the scenes, and I worked in title for many years. So I got to see every single level. Not to mention, not only the emotional aspect of the transaction and what that can look like, but the ever-changing rules, regulations in the industry.
Yeah.
The things that you're responsible for on a fiduciary piece of it too.
Yes.
Like, there are probably 50 layers of before you even get to the part of congratulations. Like, in the background, you're literally being beat up and nobody knows. So, yeah, it's just awesome to highlight professionals in this industry that are making a difference.
Yeah. And I think it's also like a lead by example too. So like, if I'm going to be at that table, and I hope people will look at me and say, well, I could do that, or I want to be there. And, I think that allows you to bring up people as well, kind of like Patty Brownwright did for me, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, and you grab them by the hand and say, here, you should be a part of these conversations.
Yes. And I love that you mentioned her. We just love her, and her career also I respect her so.
And she's been doing it a long time.
Her story is fascinating.
Yeah.
I featured her years ago, and she's been a great piece of my life too. But I'm with you on that, because also in the past 6 years of doing this, I've really seen some encouraging professional human beings, agents that are getting into the industry now, that they're wanting to do the right thing. And we need mentors like you that help and say, this is the way.
This is right.
And this is how we do.
Correct.
And I've just been encouraged by some really incredible people that have gotten in the industry in the last couple of years that are doing good things.
It's good.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, I feel like I could literally talk to you for a very much hours, but we'll wrap it up. Thank you again for what you're doing for our community, your positivity. It is so, so needed.
Thanks.
And again, it was an honor. So
it's been fun.
So fun. So we will see you next month. And we cover our March cover feature, and we'll see you then.